Alana Burke, CEO of Your Life's Workshop, coach to entrepreneurs and solopreneurs across dozens of industries, and host of Good Business. With nearly 20 years' experience helping hundreds of clients create profitable, ethically driven, and sustainable businesses based on their life's work, I'm here to teach you how to do great work, make great money, and make a positive impact without feeling like you need a shower afterwards. Welcome back to the Good Business Podcast. Today, we are talking about visibility. It's a big theme for me at the moment, as this week marks the start of Go for the No, my very new, very exciting, totally free program for learning and taking action to gain visibility and finally do all the pitching and outreach that you've had on your list forever and aren't currently doing. So if you haven't joined Go for the No, you still absolutely can. You can join anytime. I would love to have you. So first, we're going to talk about defining visibility as I see it. Then we're going to talk about why and how most people focus on all the wrong things when it comes to visibility. And finally, you're going to get a healthy pep talk on why and how you need to decide on what works for you and then actually do it. And you're going to be all like jazzed by the end, I promise. So first, what do I mean when I say visibility? It's a really broad term that kind of means something different for everyone. So for our purposes today, I am regarding increasing visibility as the actions that you take to increase the chances that strangers will know who you are and will be interested in your work. Note that I am not quantifying volume. Everyone and every business needs something different. This is part of why so many of us get so deeply discouraged when we contemplate visibility actions, because we focus on how big and how loud and how complicated it all looks and feels. And it's just like, it's so loud when we see people who are obviously focusing heavily on visibility over the tooth, right? Over the real like content meat, depth. That's what I'm trying to say. You may need a much smaller reach to accomplish your desires and your goals than what you may be comparing yourself to. So, but we see people who seem like they're everywhere. And not only does it look hard and exhausting, and it can also seem like the meat of their work is being diluted and diminished somehow. When you deeply care about the message of your work, we can get so judgy with ourselves and with other people about what it means to put it out there, right? We decide that it's all just too much before we even start. We decide that it seems desperate. We decide it seems too salesy, and that's just yucky. We decide that we are not good enough. We decide that big companies and algorithms and all the fucking rest of it and a bunch of rich people just don't deserve our efforts or our time. We decide that we don't have the resources or the knowledge or the advantages or, right? We justify and we rationalize and we make excuses, and it all adds up to just not doing any of it. I'm sure many of you can relate. I have been just as guilty as anybody else of every single thing I just said. And all because we're focused on the stretch, the complexity, the overwhelm, and the imbalances of breaking through. But what about the opportunity? That's the part that gets like kind of lost in the mix as social media and media in general just gets louder and louder. And it seems like everybody's a fucking influencer these days. We miss what an incredible opportunity still sits right in front of us, right? What about like how completely magnificent it is that we live in a time where almost anyone with internet access and a phone can break through the noise and find an amazing spotlight with an audience to match for their specific message that's just theirs. They can form it, they can shape it, they can make it all their own. Why isn't that the leading thought when we think about visibility and we think about social media and we think about getting ourselves out there more, right? Because a very short time ago, we are all of the age, like we remember a time where that wasn't true. It wasn't that long ago where like getting your message out meant like traditional PR, and it meant out sending press releases out, and like who knows how to do that well. And it was really, really difficult. And it's not now. Now we are making it difficult because there's so many opportunities, we don't know where to focus, right? But like don't we owe it to the people who don't have those opportunities to step up and step forward and use the spotlight that's available to us, like to speak up? Like there are so many gorgeous ideas in the world sitting lonely on shelves behind all our justifications and our very good reasons why, TikTok's not for us, or finding press is too hard, or we don't have the connections, right? All that crap, For me, a refreshed commitment to showing up in the world means a promise to myself being kept. For me, that promise is sharing what I know with as many people as possible so that I can use the tools that are available and sustainable to do so for me. Like I want to be able to get what I know to as many people as possible. And I can do that for free almost. I mean, it costs my time is basically it, right? So I've always made that promise to myself. How do I get what I know out of my head and into the heads of other people? So, and without them having to like pay me a fortune to do so, because that's just not sustainable. It's not broad reaching. So how do I do that? Well, there's a million ways now. So I focus on, again, the tools that are available and sustainable for me to maintain. Those two words are important: available and sustainable. That might mean something different to everybody. What's sustainable for you might not be sustainable for me, and vice versa. But that means that you don't have to do everything everywhere, but you do have to push yourself when and where we can in a way that we can see repeating, being, again, sustainable. So your promise might be different than mine. It might be financial or personal. It might be about legacy, whatever it is. It needs to be something that you can focus on, that you're passionate about enough that will outweigh all of the rationalizations to the contrary. Like it is important enough for me right now that what I know doesn't just get lost with me because I refuse to do TikTok, right? Like that outweighs my resistance. That outweighs my desire to just like, never put on lipstick and never leave my house, right? If we want a world to be better than it is, more interesting than it is, more beautiful than it is, than the artists, the visionaries, the future thinkers, the do-gooders, the healers, all the people who hate the idea of selling their work because they think it cheapens it, we need them, we need you to speak up, speak out, and recognize that by doing so, you are not selling out, you are keeping the promise of your work alive. It's not cheapening anything. It's not desperate. It's truly the most selfless thing that we can do to get over our own bullshit, to get over our grief for missed opportunities, to get over our traumas that rob us of confidence and agency. And we need to learn new things and share. It's necessary, vital even. The world needs us to show up, to show people what we can do. Otherwise, what are we leaving behind? If we do not fill the world with as much goodness as we can for as long as we can, we lose the right to complain about the darkness that fills the world in our absence. And my God, we all know there's a lot of it these days. So I'm going to finish with the words of the amazing Dylan Thomas: rage, rage against the dying of the light. Showing up everywhere we can with our very best work is how we do that. All right, everybody, thank you so much for joining me. I hope you have a wonderful week. And if you haven't joined Go for the No yet to increase your visibility, please do so. You can do it at thegoodbusiness.co. Thanks so much for hanging out with me today. For more information, visit yourlifesworkshop.com.